Hey, WheezyNewsers. How are you? It's Monday. I do these videos every Monday for you because, well, that's because I said I would. That's the only reason, literally. Alright, listen up. I had glasses in the intro and now I don't. Okay, I shot some video and then my baby started talking and then I had to stop. But I'm back. Here we are. I'm doing a video about universal basic income. Why do people like universal basic income as opposed to universal basic outgo? Because, it just seems like a wide sweeping program to change the way our entire economy works. Just seems like an easy one, So that's why I'm doing it. I interviewed a couple of the usual suspects in my videos, James L. Toucher and Chelsea Fagan. And also a new addition, the CFO of Give Directly. They are a charity that gives money directly, direct cash transfer to people in need. They have done that for years, and they're continuing to do it for a very long, I think 12-year-long experiment to see what happens when you give money directly to people, no strings attached. And so far, according to them, it seems like a very good result. People take the money and they use it to improve their homes, improve their businesses, the economy around them. When you give people money and allow them to use it the way they feel they need to use it, it seems like the argument here is that it is at least as good or maybe even better than, giving the money in a way that tells them how to use it. Who knows better how money needs to be used than the person who needs to use it? So that's the case with Give Directly, but obviously that's different than an entire government deciding to give money to every single person in their country, well, who's a citizen of their country. While there's debate there too, who would you give it to as far as immigration status, where would you draw the line and all that. That's all a little complicated there. But there's a lot of arguments for universal basic income. There's a lot of arguments against it. How would you pay for it? Would it be some form of tax increase on, like maybe adding more to a top marginal tax rate? Or there's a VAT tax, value added tax, where you tax certain goods, or you cut welfare programs. I think that's an intriguing thing for a lot of people who don't like welfare programs, because it eliminates bureaucracy and inefficiencies in welfare programs, so that rather you could just give people money, no strings attached. Instead, there's that argument. There's a lot of evidence. There's some evidence to suggest that giving money directly is better than certain welfare programs, but there's also exceptions, and if you cut welfare programs, people will lose out. These are all complicated, sensitive topics that is going to make for a fun video, isn't it? But what's exciting about it, what I didn't notice, what I didn't realize about universal basic income before I started reading, I've been reading a lot about it, is the number of potential pilot programs there are out there, and ones that have already been done. Experiments in universal basic income. I knew about the Finland one. Everyone talks about the Finland one, which, depending on who you read, says it didn't work, or it did work, or it wasn't sufficient enough. I think most people seem to say it wasn't sufficient enough, because it was supposed to measure whether people would continue to work if they got a basic income, or find new employment because they were going to get the income without any other type of benefit for unemployment. But the experiment was flawed because they did still get some other benefit if you look at the details of it. So it didn't really, but then the program ended and it didn't move the needle one way or the other too much. So critics will say, well, it didn't do anything. It doesn't work. And others will say, well, that experiment wasn't even truly universal basic income. So there's that experiment. In Canada, there have been a few. In Alaska, it's, you could argue, a universal basic income. It's based off of a resource of oil, their oil profits. Alaskan citizens get money every year based on the oil profits. And I didn't know that. I think maybe I did know that and forgot a long time ago. But I guess you could say a form of basic income. And although it varies, and recently politically people have reduced it because of the economic downturn. But that experiments have shown could have possibly improved the economy in certain ways. In Milwaukee, the state I live in, they are planning to try a form of universal basic income. Although I guess universal isn't necessarily the right word because it's going to not be for everybody. But and then in California there's a city doing it, and then I think Newark might be trying it. Is that what I read? One of those cities. I have the article saved here. This is why I write these ahead of time for the main channel. But anyway, they're trying out these experiments, and it's too early to tell if they've worked. Some of them haven't started yet, but there's a lot of talk and plans to do this and see if it works. Personally, I think that's a great idea. I don't know that it would be great to just suddenly impose nationwide universal basic income right away without knowing anything about it, how it works. That's where I'm at with universal basic income. And that's about it. Yoga update. Past couple videos I made, I was talking about yoga. Or was it just one video ago? I don't know. These Wheezy Monday, everything blurs together because I do these on Patreon too. We're not doing that right now because we were sick. Like the end of January, we got sick, and then we started the yoga thing, and the whole idea was to get up early and do yoga. But now that we've been feeling not good, we want to get as much sleep as possible, and we wake up when the baby wakes up, and then we just don't do it. So that's put on hold. Yoga's put on hold. Sorry to be behaving like a yoga. I'm sorry, I really tried to work on a pun there in my head for a second. Like a yo-yo, but like a... Sorry. Anyway, I have my own little basic income, which comes from you guys. And I thank you for your support on Patreon. And I do these kind of videos every single weekday over there. And there's a link on screen for that. And what do you think of universal basic income? Have you ever gotten any form of no strings attached income? That is, what was your experience with that?